Steppin Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
It happens here each week. We step out and enjoy our region's events and rich culture.
We are proud to support WYES. Roll camera.
The American Italian Cultural Center and Museum on South Peters in New Orleans offers event venue space, Italian language classes, dual citizenship and translation services, seminars, genealogy, and trips to Italy. Ciao, AmericanItalianCulturalCenter.com. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, what a show, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Howdy.
Hello.
Hello. Alan Smason, editor of the Crescent City Jewish News and TheaterCriticism.com. Hey, good to see you. Hello. Nick Spitzer, host and producer of the American Roots Radio Show, heard locally and nationally. Good to see you.
Hey, good to be out of the radio.
It's been a while. And we are just so honored to have with us, Tommye Myrick. Oh my goodness.
Hi.
Co-writer and director of the Louisiana historical outdoor drama, Code Noir, debuting October 13th in Congo Square. Welcome once again. You were with us.
I'm here again.
A few years back.
Few
but COVID
years
kinda
back.
shut it.
27 years in the making.
That's right. That's exactly right. Gee whiz. Look forward to hearing more about that. Poppy, new respect for an old-fashioned.
Well, we're going to start off with a little toast. So everybody, let's DIY it and stick your orange slice right in your old-fashioned.
Okay.
And here's to Elijah Craig
Yes.
Old-Fashioned Week. That's,
Yes.
There you go, gentlemen. That's coming up. Oh, I
Big
just want to do it.
I don't think I can
Mwah. It's coming up the week of October 13th. And this is the third year that that wonderful whiskey company, Elijah Craig, has partnered with the Southern Smoke Foundation to give aid to hospitality workers. They've already put $300,000 towards that effort, everything from helping people in natural disasters to mental health care. And there are going to be dozens of bars and restaurants locally participating. All you have to do is go out during Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week and have an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned, and $1 for every cocktail will be donated to Southern Smoke. And I mean, we're talking everybody from Bartonique and Jewel of the South and Cure to Fat Harry's. You can go to Fat Harry's too. So anyway, happy old-fashioned week. And while we're wishing happiness, how about a happy birthday to the Chloe, that beautiful boutique hotel on St. Charles Avenue is having their third birthday. And they are celebrating in a big way this weekend. First of all, get on the phone now. It's 30% off room bookings for the next 3 months. You can book a room, but the deal ends October 8th. So book tonight. Tomorrow night, the Artist Table Intimate Dinner Series kicks off, and that's going through the 8th. It's a 4-course dinner with a cocktail hour included for artists in residence. It's going to be a very special experience, and over the weekend, you can attend the DJ pool party. That'll be lots of fun. And Sunday afternoon, it's going to be songwriters on the front lawn, the Sunday songwriters. So go celebrate at the Chloe. It is really a lovely addition to New Orleans.
Beautifully done. Beautifully redone.
And Peggy, do you know what time it is? Oh, Peggy. It's time to do a little chicken dance. It's Oktoberfest at Middendorf. And of course, that's happening both in Manchac and Slidell every Wednesday and Thursday. Chicken dancing, sauerbraten, Wiener Schnitzel, They've got it all. And, you know, after all, Horst Pfeiffer is a
Yeah.
German man who makes, aside from the most beautiful pastas and now the most delicious fried catfish, oh my goodness, he knows what to do with some delicious German food. This is the one time a year that we have to taste that deliciousness from Horst. So everybody head on out to Middendorf's. And then, okay, when you're done with the chicken dancing, come see me next Wednesday night at, of all places, come see me at Lake Lawn Cemetery. Because I'm going to be doing a talk about haunted restaurants of New Orleans. And, you know, there's just so much to say, from Julian L. Tinge and Madame Begay. I've even got news stories from Slidell. I can't believe they have ghosts in Slidell. Palmetto's on the bayou. But look, there's that famous ghost picture. There's my buddy, Julian L. Tinge, in the corner of the old Begay dining room. So
Wow.
it's going to be really fun. The tickets are very inexpensive. It all starts off with a little wine reception at 6 o'clock. So come on out Wednesday night and let's meet at the funeral home for a happy occasion, okay?
Tommye, as we were talking a little bit earlier about, it is incredible in such an historic city and state, of course, that the whole concept of outdoor historical drama has not caught on. But you're working hard to make it do so, aren't you?
I am working really hard to make this happen, and have been working for the last 27 years to make this happen. I told someone the other day I started this project in my 40s, and now I'm in my 70s. But it's going to happen, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
And at Congo Square, we're going to show some footage while you
Yes,
talk. But
in Congo Square.
set up Le Code Noir.
Le Code Noir is actually about the code of Louisiana, the Code Noir that was here in Louisiana in the early 1700s and the 1800s, and all French-owned territory that governed how the enslaved were treated, and also their masters, and also how the Jewish people, as well as the free people of color, were treated. As a matter of fact, the very first code of Code Noir is the expulsion of Jews from French provinces during that period of time. And so this one actually deals with an enslaved African girl who was brought here during the Haitian Revolution in 1794, and we trace her life for the next 30 years. In doing that, of course, you deal with the makings of Louisiana, from the Haitian Revolution all the way to the Louisiana Purchase, to the Revolt of 1811, to the War of 1812, to the Battle of New Orleans, and then you have to deal with all of the institutions, which includes the Quadroon Ball and Plaçage. At the same time, you have to deal with historical characters that lived during that period, which is Marie Laveau was in that, Jean Lafitte, W.C.C. Claiborne, Andrew Jackson. All of these characters are within this 30-year saga.
Now you're doing this in very convenient in Congo Square,
In
very
Congo
historic
Square.
in itself,
Yes.
of course, and it is outdoors, so and it's free, which is really such a deal. But donations are gratefully
Yes.
accepted. But bring a chair.
Bring a chair and bring your snacks, non-alcoholic. And it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 13th, 14th, and 15th, 5 o'clock. Bring your chair and enjoy historical outdoor drama, the first in Louisiana, being
And you
produced
wrote
by
this.
Voices in the Dark.
Yes, and we
Repertory
should
Theater
say
Company.
Voices in the Dark. My goodness, that is very much your baby.
It is.
Intro's the repertory company. And you said, though, that this collaboration about this historical drama goes back to this gentleman, Mr. Summers, that you all wrote this
Mark
together.
R. Sumner, who first hired me to direct the very first historical outdoor drama in America having to deal with slavery. And Mark was quite a bit older than me. He died a few years ago at the age of 93, but he mentored me. And when I directed that show and I came back to Louisiana, I said, why is there not a historical outdoor drama in Louisiana when Louisiana has got to be the most important state that made America what it is today? I mean, it doubled the land size with the Louisiana Purchase. And then that's when I called Mark and I say, Mark, you got to help me write this drama.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. That's
Well,
all I
thank
can
you.
say. Whew, lots of effort there. It's great to see you once again.
Thank you.
Nick, my goodness, you've been honored. And not that you weren't already familiar with Washington, okay, D.C., but congratulations, National Heritage Fellow, one of only 9 given out to this year. You know, they give out many years, and you said there's some previous recipients from New Orleans. Huh?
Yeah, well, having worked as a state folklorist and been involved for many years in Louisiana, I've nominated some, others have nominated some. Tootie Montana, the great plasterer, Earl Barthé, Michael White, Treme Brass, Bo Dallas.
It's cultural heritage and preserving that.
Well, yeah, and these are people who have carried forward tradition. Tradition bearers is the term. Bearer almost sounds like you're carrying something, but you are. My award was for being a folklorist, a documentarian, somebody, you know.
And before we go
stirring
too
the
far,
pot.
though, set up, we're going to show, I love this, some footage of you being introduced.
Okay.
Tell us who's introducing this.
It's, I believe it's probably Maria Rosario Jackson, who's the head of the NEA, or Cheryl Sheely, who runs the program.
I think it might be Cheryl, but let's take a look at the introduction.
I haven't
Mr.
seen
Nick
this yet.
Spitzer. Okay.
From New Orleans, Louisiana, an influential public folklorist, radio producer, presenter, and educator, a cultural interpreter whose work stretches across the world, authoring several books and articles, producing over 650 radio programs, and presenting on heritage arts into the far reaches, including tours across US, Europe, and China. A scholar, receiving accolades from Guggenheim, ASCAP, University of Louisiana, the Louisiana Folklore Society, and the American Folklore Society, among others, in recognition of his contributions to the arts and humanities and ardently supporting traditional arts, the National Endowment for the Arts honors Nick Spitzer.
I brought the bling with me here.
Wait, just, here we go. Just put it right next to your face.
Oh, I brought the bling with me. This is by Philip Simmons,
There
who
it is.
was a heritage recipient from Charleston, a well-known African-American blacksmith. And
And you can
I was
pass it
thinking in
around, too.
Louisiana, I could wear this to Tulane graduations, but I think it'd be better out at Mardi Gras.
Nick, in case your voice is slightly familiar to people, of course,
Right.
on WWNO and 380 plus stations, radio stations, American Roots, celebrating Americana, and you've gotten to interview all kinds of sort of interesting people like Willie Nelson and Ray Charles and
Santana,
Santana.
Dolly.
Dolly Parton.
You know?
He says Dolly. Excuse
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
he
No,
says
no,
Dolly.
everyone's on a first-name
Right,
basis
right.
with,
Yeah.
but also lots of unknown people, lots of lesser-known blues people, gospel people who aren't necessarily famous, but have lived lives of great beauty in the art that they make. And I enjoy getting the humanism from the lesser-known artists and maybe the backstory on the famous person. But we've been doing it for 25 years.
Congratulations.
So I've been
and
lucky
through
person.
Tulane, yes. But also, so we should say on WWNO, Saturdays at 5 o'clock, and then Sundays at 6 p.m.
Yeah, for some reason they put it on 20.
But you know, you have a really, I don't know what that's about, right? No, but also in good company with Poppy Tooker over here,
that's
of course,
right.
at
That's right. We're both
WWNO.
radio people here
But,
on television.
that
Poppy seems to
website,
handle these bright lights well.
Yeah.
I tend to be a little more, but no, I'm happy to do it. I love radio because it fits being a folklorist. ORAL, oral tradition, interviews. AURAL, listeners, people listening all over. And so I really enjoy that. I think radio has a very compelling place in life, whether you're in a car or you're making breakfast or wherever you are. It's kind of intimacy. and people kind of fill in their own pictures who they're hearing from.
But I also definitely wanted to plug your website, theamericanroots.org, because you have, I love this, and you hear them sometimes on WWNO, shortcuts. So you have excerpts that are on demand, you know, by just going to that website, with, of course, you know, fascinating guests. Now we got to back up, okay? Because you know, in your list of many accomplishments, though, a lot of us have great memories of the 1984 World's Fair.
Yes, I remember that.
I think you do, but you're probably too busy, okay? Because the Louisiana Folklife Pavilion and the Federal Fiber Mills, that is where I would maintain that a lot of Orleanians heard Cajun music for the first time.
And Zydeco and things out west.
Tell us some of the people you brought in who are no longer with us. I would say, what, Sadie Corville, Ray Fontenot.
Well, thank you. You're doing it.
Well, no, I'm just trying to nudge you.
You know, when you've interviewed roughly 3,000 people in your life, sometimes you don't always remember everybody who was where. I will say this. I remember
but you programmed them coming, too, to perform.
Yeah, coming to perform. Toots Washington played there a lot, and sadly, or maybe celebratory in the way it happened, he passed away after doing his set. He took a bow, fell forward, and that was it.
Whoa. Wow.
But he was remembered for that moment.
That's
the way to go.
No more curtain calls. But you know, we had some of Robert Johnson's the great bluesman's associates over the years. We brought people from all over Louisiana, all over the South. And it was a chance to expose great traditional artists in a highly visible place and bring acclaim to them. And I think it really helped everything we were doing with the state program. And I think it helped Louisiana begin to become comfortable with all these deep tradition bearers being seen and heard from. And so the World's Fair worked very well. Russell Long, Carolyn Long helped get the timber industry behind it. My state agency people weren't as into it. They wanted to do something else. But I'm glad we did it. And I think it really got much more attention to the deep cultures of the state, particularly New Orleans and South Louisiana.
Well, definitely one of my favorite places. In addition to the music, though, you also had some show and tell.
Right.
And there was a quilt on display in that area from the 1884 World's Fair.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, it was truly amazing.
And we had guys building pirogues doing the old way. You know, and we had an exhibit, the Creole State, and we had a lot of cooking. And people just started coming to hang out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a great place to be, and I'm really happy that happened.
Well, there are many more stories to tell, but we've started it a little bit here. It's great to talk to you. Thank you. Congratulations. And
thank you.
Listen to his program. All right, Mr. Allen.
And remember, I started in radio too, Nick. So
Are you saying there's hope for me one day? I'll be in this world. Oh, I'm in this world. Thank you.
So we're getting about theater, and I want to say that the biggest show to open thus far at the Sanger is the pre-Broadway tryout of A Wonderful World, which, of course, prior to their opening, the stars came out at the Roosevelt Hotel last week. Tony Award winner James Monroe Iglehart, along with cast members, introduces to the story of Louis Armstrong and two of his four wives. You can see them there, Jenny Harney Fleming and Brennan Lark, who play Alpha Smith and Lil Hart and his middle two wives. And they're holding the Crescent City Jewish News source with the story I wrote about Satchmo and the Star. This was the story, the very popular, most accurate of the story about Louis Armstrong and the Karnofsky family. That's not me saying it. That's Ricky Riccardi of the Louis Armstrong House Museum who's saying it. That's about the immigrants who lived on South Rampart and helped to raise him. Khalifa White, who I last saw last summer in Little Shop of Horrors off-Broadway, and a year earlier in Caroline or Change on Broadway, was last here in The Lion King. She's glad to be back. So is Taria Campbell, who starred in The Lion King on Broadway. She plays Louis's fourth wife, Lucille, who famously arranged for him to buy that house that became the museum in Queens. Now, here's all four of his wives, played by all these wonderful actresses. And finally, you know, you have a photo of James, who plays the innovative jazz master as a young man and into his full maturity. But the proof is in the pudding. Here is James Monroe Iglehart with a little bit of What a Wonderful World.
Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah.
What a great taste. I love that. Thank you.
And he has shaved, by the way, for the part. That show will continue through Sunday at the Sanger Theater. Now, from the sublime to the ridiculous, just in time for Halloween, the NOLA Project is unearthing the Peter McGilligan play Dracula. That's told with the characteristic laughs and silliness, of course. Benjamin Darty plays the bloodthirsty Count Dracula, while Alexandria Miles is Mina. Keith Clavery plays a number of very funny characters, including Jonathan Harker, who's Mina's fiance. Then, of course, there's Natalie Boyd along with Joe Signorelli and Waylon Cooper, who are playing the Count's henchmen and suitors. And meanwhile, Alex Martinez Wallace holds court in several of his roles. You can see him up front there, but none more crazy than Van Helsing, the vampire hunter. This is a show that is co-directed by Leslie Clavering and Kiri Armistead. It's a comedy playing at the old inspection center that's situated right off the Lafitte Greenway, near where the Farmers Market, Poppy, right, is located. And you can park on the street or at the Greenway, but you must bring your own chairs. The show continues through next weekend. Go check it out. Dracula by Pete McElligott, as put on by the NOLA Project. Now, the smell of garlic must be permeating the night air now because there's yet another vampire play making its bow this weekend. This time it's Let the Right One In. Now, this is based on a 2004 novel and a 2008 horror film about a bullied child and a vampire who comes to his aid. Maybe make that a Band-Aid. Following, of course, on the success of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof and the Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, Salvatore Menino is directing this piece. I'll have a review on it next week. Now, meanwhile, across the lake in Slidell on the North Shore, it's time to pay homage to Babs. That's Barbara Streisand with 16-year-old Noka prodigy Imogene Abair taking on the roles of Barbara Streisand. There's only 4 shows this weekend on Friday and Saturday, as well as next weekend, and I urge everybody who loves Barbara Streisand to go check that out. Now, coming up next weekend, there'll be Winston Churchill, The Blitz. This is starring Randy Otto. He has made a career out of playing the British Prime Minister. The show plays on Friday and Saturday nights at 7 o'clock at BB Stage Door Canteen, and then at 2 p.m. for a Sunday matinee, just one weekend. So if you get a chance, go try to get some tickets. It's going to be very much high in demand. That's Winston Churchill, The Blitz. The Blitz. Also, not to be missed, a series of shows starring some of the former Victory Bells and others who have been involved in a series of shows over at the National World War II Museum. That's going to be called the Leading Ladies Show. And Courtney Anderson, one of my favorites, returns to BB Stage Door Canteen for Leading Ladies on select Wednesday afternoons in both October and November. Also, Chloe Marie Johnson, who played Ella Fitzgerald in their production of Billy and Ella, will return as well. And they'll be joined by reigning Stage Door idol Whitney Mixon, who's no stranger to that stage, nor is Christina Perez, who famously performed in Jump, Jive, and Wail, and another Victory Bell to boot at the museum. Check these shows on October the 25th and twice more in November, just prior to Thanksgiving. That's Lady Legends. Now, for those that wish to give blood without a vampire present, you can participate in the blood drive at the JPAC on October the 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now, everyone who donates blood gets passes to see Young Frankenstein and the Mortuary. That's the Fright Show on Canal Street. So the blood drive first, then you get free tickets to Young Frankenstein and the Mortuary. And don't forget that Leslie Castay is going to be directing that towards the end of October. I'll not be able to talk about it until I come back in November, of course, with the review of that. Lastly, LPO is right in the midst of all this frightening stuff because they're presenting Get Out. That's the Jordan Peele movie, of course. And they're going to present the soundtrack live on stage at the Orpheum.
All right, thank you so much. Time for picks. And now I will start our picks of the week with on Saturday morning. WYES will present a screening of the first episode of World on Fire Season 2. You can enjoy mimosas and all kinds of sweet and savory goodies while viewing this new installment of Masterpiece Theater. Held here right at our studios, 916 Navarre. Go to wyes.org/events for tickets. Gentilly Fest kicks off Friday at Pontchartrain Park with a great music lineup, including Wanda Ruzan and Robin Barnes. Free, but you can purchase tickets that include refreshments. Eventbrite.com. Across the river in downtown Gretna, there's Gretna Fest. Music and art markets, vendors, right near City Hall, The Temptations, Cool and the Gang, and lots of local bands too. GretnaFest.com. Poppy.
Saturday night, I'll be emceeing at the Strangers Ball. It's a masquerade fundraiser benefiting the Tennessee Williams Theater Company of New Orleans. So come join us. It's going to be fun. my drag queens, Debbie with a D. She'll be performing. It's going to be fabulous.
So fun. Tell me your
I have to say
website.
that my pick of the week would be Let the Right One In at La Petite Theater. Even though I love La Petite and I think that they're going to do wonderful, that is my pick of the week. This week. Next week, it's, of course, Le Code Noir.
Okay, sounds good. And Voices in the Dark, we should say, for more information.
Yes.
VoicesInTheDarkRepertory.com. All right.
Exactly.
Very good. Okay, Nick.
Well, I'm going to go to Gretna Fest myself to see Los Lobos and interview them so we'll create an American Roots program with them. I just think they're fantastic.
And who's on this weekend on your American Roots?
On this weekend, we've got DeVelle Crawford live. And the second hour is something different because it's a Native American hour in celebration of the new Indigenous Peoples holiday that's shared with Columbus Day now.
Very good. Thank you. Alan.
So here's an opportunity to see ballet and help the Ukrainian restoration of a school, a college, if you will, in Kiev, when the Grand Kiev Ballet presents 2 shows, Snow White as a matinee at 2 o'clock, and then they come back that night with Swan Lake. Again, I hope everybody gets a chance who loves ballet to go see that, and I'll see you at the theater.
Thank you very much. And a few more picks. Gallery opening Saturday, all part of Art for Art's Sake. What a weekend. And Julia and Magazine Streets. Phil Malasaw presents a tribute to Henry Mancini. Moon River, Days of Wine and Roses, Charade, and so many more. Mancini by Moonlight stars Phil and Heidi Malasaw, David Cook, and Alden Hagedorn at the Monkey Hill. It's a wonderful place on Magazine at Webster. Remaining performances this Sunday, October the 8th, and Thursday, October the 12th, both at 8 p.m. It's right there at the corner of Magazine and Webster. Reservations, 202-09. 86 and ourmelonsongs@gmail.com. Next Wednesday from 5 to 8 p.m. Latin music in the Botanical Garden at City Park. Enjoy the sculpture by Enrique Alfares, of course, and refreshments are available. Free admission, what a deal. Evenings with Enrique, courtesy of the Hellas Foundation. Looking ahead, WYES is hosting a Halloween party with a Morgus theme Saturday, October 28th, 7 p.m. at the WYES studios in Lakeview. There'll be plenty of food and drink, live music from the Consortium of Genius Band, and a costume contest with great prizes, plus Morgus video, clips. Go to wyes.org/events, and at $45, what a deal for food and drink and all that good stuff. Thank you all so much. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good.
Programming on WYES is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
Public television is our passion. With so much content that WYES broadcasts and presents online, we are quite entertained and highly informed.
Please join us in supporting WYES.
The American Italian Cultural Center and Museum on South Peters in New Orleans offers event venue space, Italian language classes, dual citizenship and translation services, seminars, genealogy, and trips to Italy. Ciao, AmericanItalianCulturalCenter.com. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.